All right. What the heck is going on, everybody? My name is Tara Devlin. How's it sounding? How's it looking? This is Tarabuster Tuesdays, the first episode for hopefully many, many more episodes to come, because we need to flood the zone. That's how I feel. We got to flood the zone with the truth, with the progressive truth. The progressive. Let's start off by saying, well, my name is Tara Devlin, in case you don't know, and we will meet here every Tuesday. Hopefully there'll be more shows in the future. So we're starting out with Tarabuster Tuesdays. I also have a show on Friday nights, and Jim is the moderator. Thank you, Jim, for showing up for the moderator duties again. I can always count on you. Thank you, guys. And so we will broadcast this on the Political Voices Network, and then the rebroadcast. It'll be uploaded to the Tarabuster YouTube channel after the fact, and everywhere else. So I'll put it on the iTunes and all that. But now we're on the Political Voices Network, and we're going to do that. And maybe there'll be a Thursday show. There'll hopefully be more shows. So I'm just trying to get my schedule settled. And tonight, or I mean, not tonight, I'm so used to doing the show at night. The first guest on this show is the amazing JoJo from Jerz. She'll be calling in around 2:35. And yeah, because she's, has other commitments, but she's giving us the time, and I'm incredibly grateful, and she's great. And I've never spoken to her before. I'm a little nervous because I'm a fan. I'm a little fangirl. And yeah, because she's such an incredible and amazing voice that we need more of in this world. So it could be a little louder. All right, thank you. Let me see. It could be a little louder. Let me see. Hello, hello, hello. Let's try. Where's my loop back? Let's see. Thank you, guys. This is how we do it. Because, let's see. Hold on a second. How's it sound? Is it sounding a little better? Maybe I just need to speak up more. Oh, now I'm dropping things. All right. So where do we begin? How does it sound? I mean, there's like a 10-second delay. I won't be able to hear it until it might have been me speaking low, because I need to speak up more. I think it's okay, right? It's okay. All right, guys. So thank you. All right, let's just dive into it. Where do we begin? Before I started the show, I was watching the floor debate on releasing the Epstein files. Of course, Trader Trump, he predicted it years ago that he could shoot somebody on Fifth Avenue and get away with it. And now we know that not only can he shoot somebody on Fifth Avenue, he could be a child rapist. That's what he is. There is no low, there's no bottom in the Republican Party. Whenever they hit bottom, the damn trap door opens, and then we go plummeting down into Dante's 15th cycle of hell. And I just can't believe what I'm watching, because you know what, they take the entire country with them. And I want to play this clip of Trader Trump. It's it's a short clip, but it's really emblematic of what we're dealing with and just how repugnant he is. Not that we need a reminder, but yeah, I'll play it anyway, because it's, all I have to keep saying is shame on you. If you voted for him, shame on you. And shame is a necessary emotion. It's how we keep civilization in check. But I guess, when I'm on Hal Sparks, he always corrects me. He's like, you can't shame the shameless. It's kind of true. But I think that we have a duty to try anyway. We can shame maybe those on the periphery, because you have to have, at least some people in your life that feel shame. And the reason maggots, they will never cut ties with Trump, because they've lost so much already. Now, I'm surprised to see perjury traitor Green, of course, cutting ties, but that's self-preservation. You see, they only see the light when something affects them directly, and this is part of the problem that we're facing in this country, that they're, this complete selfishness. And I really hope that when we get through this time, that the American people will stop being so pathologically selfish. There's nothing more progressive, let's say, because let's start from here. The United States is a progressive experiment in self-governance. Never forget that, we're the ones, the progressives are the ones carrying the mantle of the revolution. We're the ones capable of functioning in the type of free, democratic, multiracial, liberal democracy that the founders fought a revolution to create. Now, yeah, they weren't, they were men of their times. They were hypocrites, of course. They wrote all men are created equal, and they meant all white men, all white, rich men. But regardless of who they were, it's about who we are. And, they certainly gave us a progressive blueprint from which to build upon. They overthrew a king and an aristocracy. That can't be denied. They overthrew this king and an aristocracy that ruled Western civilization for 2,000 years. And, there's nothing more progressive than that. The conservatives at the time, they were the loyalists. And if we went back in time to the time of the revolution, that's what they would be. They would be the ones begging and pining for the king to trickle on them. Right? Because here they are again. They want a king. They don't want to rule themselves. That's why they go on about daddy. Daddy's home. Because they're kids. They're children. Kids putting my... They're babies. They're infants. They're emotionally stunted. They're incapable of functioning in a free democratic society, a multiracial liberal democracy. They hate that. So it's up to us to point this out and reclaim patriotism, reclaim the revolution, to bring the promises of America to fruition. It's up to us to get these monsters where they belong in history's trash bin. And in case you missed it, Trader Trump was on, he's a pedo. He was on his plane, and he likes to go back and talk to the White House press corps, the majority of whom I suppose now are a bunch of right-wing maggots. I know I repeat myself, but they kicked a lot of people out. They let a lot of people who are nothing but propagandists into the White House press corps. It's the Republican way. They destroy everything they touch. They can't handle, the criticism. Human beings, adults, I should say, should be able to handle criticism, but we're not dealing with adults here. They just want to. They're not in government for altruism. They got into government to make it easier for them to steal. So Trader Trump was on Air Force One, staining Air Force One with his presence and his stench. I'm sure you've heard, he stinks. He does look like somebody who stinks, too. He's sweaty. He's disgusting. He has a horrible white boy diet. And, okay, I'm sure his breath stinks. I'm sure he's not very good at oral hygiene. And I guess we could ask Bill Clinton. Who knows? So he's on Air Force One talking to the press.
Is that what you'd like to do for as far as action?
I just want to admit I'm on. Yeah.
You have.
But I can't tell you.
Where is it?
Yeah,
if there's
go
nothing
ahead.
incriminating in the
Listen to
plot,
him.
sir, why not? Why everything is
Quiet.
Did you hear that? One of the reporters is trying to ask him a question, and he points at her and says, "Quiet, piggy." I know it's a little hard to
Yeah,
hear.
If there's
go
nothing
ahead, go ahead.
incriminating in the
Quiet.
box, sir,
Venezuelan,
why
sir.
not act? Why
Quiet,
acting as if
quiet, Piggy.
Quiet,
Venezuela's-
Piggy. The disrespect that this monstrosity shows to the American people is beyond comprehension to me. You know, how much do we have to hate ourselves to allow this to continue? You know, to allow this waste of human DNA to continue to drag our country down into, you know, the cesspool with him. Quiet, Piggy. You know, people can only abuse you to the point where you allow it. Now, I don't know. I guess that, well, I don't know who he said that to. But I wonder. I guess if that were, I don't know, because I was thinking, like, what would I do if that were me? If that was my job, to sit on Air Force One and ask this baboon questions. What would I do if he said, quiet, Piggy? I don't know. I mean, that's why you need independent journalists. What would happen if he throws you out of the White House press pool? Who cares? Why is there a White House press pool anyway? There's no point to it. The only reason you're there is to take dictation for a bunch of liars. You know, go pound the pavement and do some journalism. There's no point to it. It would be a far more powerful statement if the legitimate journalists picked themselves up and got the F out of there en masse, because that's what he wants. You know, the baboon wants attention. No offense to baboons, really, but what is he? No, quiet, Piggy. Now tell me, while the House is voting on the Epstein files, this is the behavior of an abuser. You know, if he's trying to convince us that he's not somebody who raped children, he's doing a pretty shit poor job at it. Obviously, he's an abuser. Look at the way he treats people. Look at the way he treats women, the way he talks to women, the way he talks to the American people. He doesn't work for us. We're nothing to him and the Republican Party that put him in power. You know, there's no excuse for him to be their standard bearer. And I was listening to Mike Johnson, this disgusting fake Christian. You know, I don't know how he goes to church on Sunday. He calls himself a Christian. I mean, these people have devolved Christianity into nothing but tracking the masturbation habits of their children. You know, that's their God. Their God is as puny as they are, as small as they are. You know, isn't that funny how all the expressed implicit instructions of the Savior they pretend to worship, they fall by the wayside. You know, they go out the window. And they would rather focus on your pee-pee. You know, it's the pee-pee patrol. Your own pee-pee, their pee-pee, their son's pee-pee. You know, is the pee-pee in the right bathroom, according to them? Is it dressed appropriately? Is it dressed in the proper attire, according to them? I mean, they're really small. They supposedly worship a God that knows all the mysteries of the universe, but all he gives a shit about is if you masturbate or not, right? Doesn't care that you're starving people, kicking them off health care. Right? Doesn't care that 50,000 Americans needlessly die without health care. That's okay. Your son, did he touch his pee-pee? Your 17-year-old son. These people are sick. And we're sick for allowing it to continue. And that's what I want to talk to JoJo about, too, because she wrote an article that I named the show after tonight. You know, that Trump thinks you're fucking stupid. Yeah, they do. That's the entire Republican brand now. They want you, but this is. I'll wait till JoJo gets here and we'll talk about it, because I want her opinion on it. I mean, the way she. If you're not subscribed to JoJo's Substack, please do, because it's great, and subscribe to mine too. Please, because it's great too. But I know. Everywhere you go, people are telling you to subscribe to things, but this is our duty right now. This is how we help each other in our, get this country back, because this is how the Republicans took the country from us, through through propaganda. Does Donald Trump think we're stupid? Of course he does. Why wouldn't he? I mean, we're the ones who fucking elected him. I mean, we didn't. We're stupid enough to have a system that allows a baboon who receives fewer votes to squat in the Oval Office, even though he's unfit, even though he's a Putin puppet, even though he's a tax-cheating, draft-dodging, wannabe dictator con man with a fake university. All of that stuff didn't matter. We knew who he was. Of course, we tried. We tried to warn the maggots. That's why shame is an important emotion, that we have to, make shame great again. It's time to shame maggots into, I guess, I don't know, if we can't discourage them from staying home on election day, just shame them into, I don't know, being capable. I guess I'm just trying to, that's too much. As I'm workshopping it, shame them into apologizing, for one thing, recognizing, we don't want any of these good German types. Remember well, we weren't there, of course, but after World War II, no, there was the whole good German saying, because none of the Germans would cop to ever supporting Hitler. It wasn't me. I was one of the good ones, right? So I don't want that to happen here. These people need to own what they've done to this country. And the problem is, and that's why we need the independent liberal media, like the Political Voices Network, and what we're doing here is really important. And I hope you agree. This is why we're in this boat, because we don't have the media. There is no liberal media. This is the liberal media. You're looking at it. And they were able, because they have the money behind them, they were able to make people stupid enough to vote for their own demise. And we have the receipts, for the Republican, I'm not trying to bash Democrats, but we got to give credit where credit's due. That's why they need to listen to this show, and they need to stop being, bipartisan. How's that? Stop with the bipartisan. Oh, nobody gives a shit if you're bipartisan or not. We want you to understand, as AOC says, understand the assignment. We need you to give credit where credit's due. The party of personal responsibility, that's the Republicans, right? They only take responsibility. They only stick to that motto when trying to rip health care from people or deny food from people. They only stick to that motto when they're trying to make people suffer. But when it comes to taking responsibility for the fact that they destroy everything they touch, forget it. So we're going to have to point it out to the people that continuously vote for them for whatever, why? I was going to say for whatever reason, but that's not true. They vote for Traitor Trump because he hates the same people they do. That's the bottom line. All you got to do is scratch the surface of every maggot, and you'll find racism. You'll find bigotry of some form or another, fear, something that makes them feel like, someone's getting over on them. And this is the oldest trick in the book. That's why I can't stand them. Besides, I don't hate them. I want them to get health care. We're trying to fight for them to have a decent life. We don't want them to live in their poorly run shithole red states. The red states are poorly run, and they keep voting for the same representatives. They send these people to the halls of power as they slip lower and lower and lower on the ladder. There's something in my... in my mouth here. Yeah, red states, they have a lower life expectancy. They live on average 2 years less than the normal states, than blue states. That's because of they have shitty health. The Republicans that they vote for continuously cut their lifelines. They didn't expand Medicare or Medicaid. They have high rates of uninsured. I mean, this all matters. Underfunded hospitals. And it's only going to get worse thanks to the big ugly bill. They have higher poverty rates, higher inequality in these poorly run red states. They consistently rank at the top in in all negative measures like poverty, childhood poverty, food insecurity, reliance on federal welfare. You know, the welfare queens. You see? They're delusional, these people. And it's time for us to pull their covers. I'm not saying, hey, I want them to have the help they need. But I want them also to have the manners, the maturity, the decency to say thanks. Right? To say thanks, Dems. But they can't, because these are people that can't even say the name of the Democratic Party. And I was watching the Epstein, the floor debate, and even the good Republicans, right? Thomas Massey, he's supposed to be a good one. He can't even say the name of the Democratic Party. It drives me insane. He's like, the Democrat Party, something, something, something. You're supposed to be the good one. You know, he's trying to talk his fellow Republican monsters into voting to release the Epstein files, in spite of the fact that the baboon they put in the halls of power is a child rapist, they knew that already, though. That's the other thing. They knew that. They knew who he was. My God. But even the ones who pretend to be normal, or are at sometimes, I guess, vote normal at this point. This is a normal vote to take. Who wouldn't want to see who's on the Epstein list? Who are and that's what I'm so sick of. It's not just about, the rich and powerful getting away with running this child sex ring. But it's emblematic of what they are and who they are and why they must be taxed down to size. They must be taxed out of power. I guess up until now we were lucky, because I've been screaming for years that billionaires shouldn't exist, and I've been telling people, we've been lucky that. I mean, don't you watch those Marvel movies where there's always a supervillain and who wants to, we see it. Kneel before Zod, right? And they want to take over the world, destroy the world, or whatever. And up until now, we've been lucky, or to a degree, that the billionaires weren't trying to destroy Earth. But that's changed. Now we have billionaires that not only are trying to destroy, they're trying to destroy the government. They're trying to destroy our system of government that actual patriots fought, bled, and died to create and entrust to us. They're trying to destroy it because they don't want to work in a system where they have to consider other people. They want to go back to the system where the rich run and rule and everybody else knows their place and awaits their rewards in heaven. And Republicans are quite happy to help them. That's Project 2025. So what do you do with a bunch of monsters like that? You tax them down to size so they can't destroy government. Because Republicans hate government. They say, oh, small government. They don't hate government. They just hate democracy. They don't like, a democracy. They don't want to have to consider caring and sharing and, paying their fair share. They're parasites. It's time to reclaim, all of the lingo of the first Gilded Age. That's one of the things in the past, the people who fought on the front lines of the labor movement understood who their enemies were. They weren't enamored. Well, maybe some of them were. But what makes me sick is watching these maggots all look up to people like Elon Musk, this horrible sociopath who fires Americans, veterans, and waves around a chainsaw. Like he doesn't have enough money. These pricks. They're sick. It's absolute sickness. So where does it stop? And the sickness is that it's hate. It's hate. The founders, let's remember this. The founders pledged their lives, their fortunes, and their sacred honor to each other. Just say that today to any maggot. What do you think they would say? What do you think Republicans would say? That's so woke, isn't it? Pledging your life, your fortune. What? Your sacred honor? I guess you have to have some honor to begin with. But, hey, we have honor, and we're in this together. So that's how, Democrats have got to take these patriotic slogans. It's not, and use it. It's not a slogan. I mean, e pluribus unum. Out of many, one. That's goddamn woke to me. But that's the motto that the founders chose for us. Out of many, one. See, and talking about what's his name? Maggots. Republicans not only hate America, they're confused by her. And now that I'm saying this, I'm thinking about Benny Johnson. I know, right? Ew. He just gave a speech where he said that diversity is poison, right? It's not a strength. Diversity is America's poison. Let's see.
Diversity is not your strength in your marriage. Like if you were married to someone. Is anybody married in here? I've been happily married. Yes, good. Well done. The Charlie Kirk billboard had an effect on your life.
So pathetic.
Diversity is not your strength. If you married somebody who doesn't speak your language and you can't communicate with and you have nothing in common with.
What a tiny, small, fearful, fragile man-child. Diversity is not your strength. I mean, they're just small. No, it is your strength. It is. We're not talking about your marriage, you little prick. You little myopic center of the universe prick. I mean, this is who the Republicans are. The center of the universe is a very crowded place filled with Republicans. That's why they can't see the light unless something affects them directly. That's why, it's pathetic. It's pathetic. Oh, and diversity's not a strength. Well, it is in a country. It's been our strength. That's how we got to be one of the greatest. Well, that's how we created the greatest middle class in the entire world. Diversity is our strength. We get to attract the greatest talent from all over the world. There was, because of diversity being our strength and other factors like unionized workforce, higher top marginal tax rate on the rich, 90% at times, where we got to have the 20th century was known as the American century. So I don't know what these assholes hate about America, but it just seems like everything. They hate America. Not only do they hate America, they're confused by America. And they want to make America, I don't know, what? They want it like, they always whine about European socialism or Europe. We're not Europe. Well, it sounds like you want to make it like Europe. They talk about what's American exceptionalism to them. You see, these are things we have to define as a country. You have to have a common understanding of things. But, you know, we've allowed these Republicans to define the whole thing. You know, they have taken the American dream and redefined it. From, you can have a decent middle class life, to you too can be a billionaire. And no, not really. Most of these billionaires were born on third base thinking they hit a triple anyway. So, and it's all, billionaires are created through tax systems. No one becomes a billionaire because they worked a billion times harder. And this is the problem with this country. People don't, we're damn divided. Listen to this shit. He's given this speech at the Heritage Foundation to architects of Project 2025. Benny Johnson, who, let's not forget, is a Russian asset. Okay? So, Benny Johnson, they're confused. Not only do they hate America, they're confused by America because, diversity is regarded, was widely regarded as one of America's fundamental strengths. It's a strength that is across all economic, cultural, governmental, and societal dimensions. It makes U.S. more innovative, adaptable, prosperous. This is, we have the receipts for this too. Diverse workplaces and communities drive innovation. They increase productivity, unlock, potential. And we saw what happened in Springfield, Illinois. They're eating the dogs, they're eating the cats. That when the baboon said that during the campaign. Well, they've chased the immigrant community out of Springfield, and now Springfield is in decline. So the Haitian immigrants of Springfield brought that community back to life, and Trader Trump and J.D. Vance and the Republicans, they used the immigrant community that was what do you call it? Attracted there by the local government. They were lured there. And they contributed to the economics of Springfield, Illinois, after the Republican policies destroyed it. So Republicans destroyed Springfield twice now. So now the Haitian community are fleeing, and they're going to Canada. So they'll bring their work ethic. They'll bring all of their, strengths to Canada. And that's what Republicans do. They don't give a shit about this country because they're going to be just fine. It doesn't matter who, doesn't have health care or food or opportunity. If the United States is the least upwardly mobile. We used to be the most, now we're the least. It doesn't matter if the middle class is now below 50% of the population. It's getting worse. I mean, that happened during Trump's first maladministration. The middle class went below 50% of the population. And it was not even a peep on the corporate media. I don't know, I was yelling about it on my show. But that goes to show you the priorities of the corporate media. This is the liberal media. We don't have a liberal media, not even in this country. This is it. And the corporate media is run by billionaires, So they're not going to, it just sucks that they are so small, that all that matters in America now is greed. Greed and selfishness is now the American, I guess it's the only American value. sickening, really. And the stupidity of the American people voting for this con man, this fake businessman who hates the American people so much that what did he do before he became the so-called president despite receiving fewer votes? He was a grifter selling multi-level marketing vitamin scam to people. He never brought anything to the table. He's not an innovator. He never came up with anything that made humanity, that uplifted humanity or made the country better. He was like tickling people's addictions with his casino that he couldn't even keep from bankrupting because he sucks at business. He's a shitty businessman. I'm not a businesswoman. I don't know business. It's not my thing. But that's not my whole persona. But he's a grifter. He's a liar. He's a grifter. Always looking for the shortcut, the easy way. That's why, it's just baffling to me why anyone would vote for him. Why anyone is that dumb to send him into the halls of power and just not, let's say he was a good businessman. Government is not a business. The country is not a business. Oh, here comes JoJo. JoJo. Hold on. Hey, Joe. Are you okay? Is everything okay? Can you hear me? Joe? Uh-oh. I don't hear Joe. Joe? Can you hear me, Joe? Hold on. Can you hear me? I think we might have a problem. Joe, can you hear me? No. No hearing? You can't hear? No. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Shit. Hold on. Let me see. I'm not sure what to do. Can you call back? Maybe. Because it should just link up. You can't hear. Huh. Interesting. Oh, you've muted. It says you've muted yourself. You can't hear me? Oh, shit. No, I hear you. Say something. Say something. Hello? Are you talking? Can you hear me? I hear you, Joe. I hear you. I hear something. Yeah, I hear you. I just hear. Oh, shit. Always something on the Tarabuster show. I think it's on her end because we can hear her. I heard her. I heard her talking. It should just be able to, that's the thing about eCam. You should be able to just, everything is automatic. There's less buttons for me to mess up. And Jim remembers back in the day when it was Tarabuster, there's a lot more mess ups. Even though, but eCam's been putting up with, all right, here we go. Let's try again. Hello? Can you hear me? Still can't hear me. Oh, no. I can hear you, though. That's what's so weird. You can't hear. I hear you, though. I hear you. This sucks. Oh, my God. Joe, I can hear you, though. I hear you. So I think there's something on your end that is not working. Yeah. Let's see. We might have to try it again if that comes down to it. I don't want to, and then do a test, I think I can hear you, though. I can hear you. I hear you. Damn it. Damn it. Yeah. I'm not sure. I hear you. Okay. Let's try again then. Let's try again. Maybe next week then. And we could do a test. And we'll do a test. Well, this sucks. Okay. Yeah, I'm just sending you. All right? Yeah, if you can't hear. Yeah, what a pain in the ass. I'm sorry about this. Yeah, I mean, I think it's on her end because I can hear her and I don't understand. Yeah, I know. Well, I will still talk about her article because I had it ready here. She wrote this article called, and this is really what we're talking about. Does Trump think you're stupid? Let's play her video. And if you're not a subscriber, because JoJo is not only has her own Substack, but she writes for the Siren. And she's part of the Political Voices Network, too. So, don't forget that, guys. We're all trying to build this big progressive machine here, because this is how we're going to win. We have to get the country back from, from the monsters. The monsters. Yeah, she says, take a break. I don't, maybe flip it to Zoom. I'm getting George from PVN is texting me. I don't have Zoom. Do I have Zoom? Yeah, I could probably link it. Let's see. I don't, yeah, I mean, I'm not set up for Zoom. Set up. Yeah. It's her. It's gotta be because I can hear her and yeah. I'm not set up for Zoom yet, and I can't do it right now because we only have like 15 minutes left of the show. This sucks. I'll set it up for next week, and so we'll have a backup. Or another time if JoJo can join. I'll still, I mean, it really does. It's disappointing. It really does suck. Let's try again. Uh-oh. No? Yes? No? Maybe so? It says you've muted yourself, Joe. Let me see. Yeah. I'm just texting. It keeps saying she's muted. She has muted herself. Yeah. Yeah. It's not working. It's okay. Let's do it next week. I can hear her. Yeah. All right. Joe, it's okay. Let's do it next week. Tell her we'll do it next week. We'll do it next week. Yeah. It's not working. I mean, I can't. Anyway. I'm sorry. All right. Let's just... It is what it is. Jim understands. Jim, as the moderator in the chat room, this is the liberal media. I knew something was... I had a freaking feeling. It's always something. But the thing with Ecamm, it's supposed to be just, plug and play, set it and forget it. I know. We'll do it next week. Damn it. What a pain in the ass. Right? But thank you for, enduring, and sorry about that. But let's try it again. Yes, roll with it. Exactly, Pearl-wise. You just got to do it. You got to roll with it. You're right, 100%. And next week we'll figure it out. I didn't do a test because it generally works, It's just a link that the guests click on, and I think that it's on her end. It's gotta be, because I can hear her and she can't hear me. So okay, let's talk about her article anyway. Unfortunately, she's not here to respond, but let's dive in. Okay, here we go. Not him again. Yeah, now my settings are all screwed. It's okay. Let's figure it out next week. Boom. All right, so Joe wrote an article, Donald Trump thinks you're stupid. Let's listen.
They think you're fucking stupid. Not regular stupid, not that forgot your password again stupid. They think you're fisting a beehive stupid, wandering into traffic stupid, should not be allowed to microwave soup without supervision stupid. That's the whole blueprint. That's the whole grand design. The Republicans' coffee-stained, dog-eared little star chart titled, "Assume the voters are fucking idiots." And Donald Trump, his commitment to that delusion is biblical, because he really, really thinks you're stupid. He needs you to be smooth-brained, adult-sized applesauce wandering the grocery aisle like you're trying to solve a maze printed on bong water, weapons-grade stupid. He talks to America like he's babysitting adults who lick outlets for sport and then proudly show him the scorch marks. He stands there in that tragic orange glow, a punished beach ball someone forgot to deflate after a Mar-a-Lago orgy, explaining the economy to a nation he assumes has the mental texture of damp casino carpet, still warm from whatever the hell happened on it. Because he thinks you're fucking stupid. Look at him. The black funeral parlor hand caked in pancake makeup, the cankles fighting for their lives, the suit that isn't a suit but a tarp straining to hide a whole Radio Shack's worth of braces, pumps, bandages, batteries, backup generators, and whatever medieval contraption keeps him upright. And he calls that perfect health because he thinks you're fucking stupid. Then today, he bragged about saving you from the tariffs he put in place to bring down grocery prices he swears never went up. A man arguing with his own lies in real time because he thinks you're fucking stupid. He thinks you won't notice your grocery bill beating the shit out of your paycheck. He thinks you won't notice your rent turning into a hostage negotiation. He thinks shouting hottest economy in the world like a televangelist mid-stroke will make you forget. We're living in the economic end scene of Thelma and Louise because he thinks you're fucking stupid. And while you're rationing bread, he's building himself a $350 million gilded ballroom, a gaudy Xanadu of gold trim and mail-in security, a monument to his delusion constructed on the financial corpses of the people he screws, because he thinks you're fucking stupid. And now, right on schedule, the Epstein panic hits, and he's flailing like a man being hunted through a carnival funhouse by every terrible thing he's ever done. These emails aren't leaking. They're blowing the fuck up like IEDs in Outlook, little explosive truth bombs turning his alibis into shrapnel. Epstein says he could take Trump down. Epstein says Trump knew. Epstein said Trump asked Ghislaine to stop. The visits, the photos, the teenage employees, the girl who was 16, he knew he was involved. He is implicated. And he still wants you to believe they're fake and real, planted and exonerating, a hoax and an emergency, a nothing burger, and a national crisis. Why?
Right.
Because he thinks you're fucking stupid.
That's
Last
right.
week he treated a discharge petition like it was the nuclear briefcase guarded by a laser maze, 3 horny angels, and a Doberman in night vision goggles, and poof! The concussed birthday clown declares himself the Pope of Transparency, even though he could release the Epstein files right now, this minute, on the toilet. He controls the DOJ. He's the one hiding the files. That pending investigation excuse, just gaslighting with a federal seal on it because he thinks you're fucking stupid. He posts stiff hostage photos with Melania, a woman radiating the energy of someone trying to astral project out of her marriage, and he thinks that counts as innocence because he thinks you're fucking stupid. And he genuinely believes 77 million self-sabotaging masochists are too stupid to notice. He's fixed no bridges, raised no wages,
That's
revived
right.
no factories, cleaned no water, lowered no insulin, helped no one but predators and plutocrats. Because he thinks his base is stupid. He thinks you're stupid.
Yep.
He thinks we're all stupid. Republicans have no platform, no policy, no improvements for anyone but the rich and the monstrous. So they distract, they misdirect, they shake jangly bullshit in your face like busted street magicians, hoping you won't look behind the curtain, because they think you're fucking stupid. But the real question, the only question, the one they're betting everything on is, are you?
There you go. Boom. Drop the mic. And you know what? What do you think? Yeah, they're betting. I mean, we're not stupid, but I often debate with myself and others about, well, how do we reach the maggots? You know, they're not going to, just calling them stupid. The people say isn't going to reach them, and I don't know if, it's. I mean, what else do we have to say? What else can we say? Because they're not. I don't know if they're stupid, but they sure are nasty. They sure are angry and mean and divisive. You will never find. You see, here's the thing. I always talk about them drinking liberal tears, right? And why do you vote for people that have no policies, have nothing for you, do nothing but drag you lower and lower on the ladder, and then point fingers to distract you from the fact that they're the ones doing it, and sell you merch about, triggering the libs and drinking liberal tears? I'm not trying to drink their tears. I'm trying to make sure that they have health care. And and the bottom line is, now I think we've turned a corner. Progressives have turned a corner. We are drinking their tears a little. It's not that, though. It's not about, because there's something behind it. It's not just about wanting to upset them. We're trying to wake them up. And if it's if the fact is they only see the light when something affects them directly, it's good that they're feeling the pain. You voted for this. This is, and tell me what you voted for, because I keep saying this on sometimes I'll go on the conservative Reddit page to see what they're saying. Oh, and interesting. I'll show you. Actually, I was there yesterday. Let's see if they've updated it. I was on the conservative Reddit page, and they barely posted for the past 9 days. Because what are they going to say? Right? How are they going to protect their pedo? Right? Let's see. Where is it? Conservative. But the thing is, we're not trying to drink their tears without nothing to back it up. I'm drinking their tears because I want them to wake the F up. I like the fact that they're finally, understanding who is on their side. It's not Trump. It's never been Trump. And in fact, even though he hated the same people you do, or hates the same people you do, it still has never been him. That in itself is evil. It's up to the American people who, it's up to, if these people were leaders, they would guide the Republicans who vote for them, or their voters, to, evolve, to stop being evil. They would try to explain to them, no, diversity isn't poison, it's our strength, and explain. That's why you'll never hear a Republican ask any of the people or any of their victims who vote for them to evolve. They'll never encourage it. In fact, they encourage them to nurse their bigotries like a baby sucking a binky. Right? That's the American birthright now. And for years, I've been saying, Republicans think this is the definition of freedom. Republicans think, they're not free unless they can, call somebody the N-word, or, or misgender somebody, or, now they've brought back the word retard, which I don't even want to say, because it's so disgusting. It's so juvenile, really. But that's what they have to offer the American people. A baboon that calls people piggies and fat piggies And, of course, it's always women. And women of color, he calls them low IQ. Got nothing to offer but hate and division. He hates the American people. And, you know, all they do is treat the American people as hosts from which to suck, profit, and discard. So when JoJo asks the question, she asks the right question. Are you? Are you stupid? What's it going to take? You know, they dragged you through all of their manias. They manipulated you into thinking they cared about exploited children. They wouldn't pull a hair for exploited children. These are people that are closing rural hospitals. You know, children need health care, but they're cutting back. They get the rich need another tax break. They need, people like Larry Summers and their ilk. The masters of the universe need to, I guess they don't have enough. They need to pontificate about poverty, not do anything about it. As always, there's enough for everyone's need, but not for everyone's greed in this country. And I'm sick of it. I don't know about you. I'm damn sick of it. Oh, here it is. I'm trying to find this conservative Reddit page, finally. I'm really sick of it. So if anything, for those of us in recovery like myself, we all know that it's always darkest before the dawn and that stuff. You hit bottom and maybe you get that moment of clarity. I do hope that this is our moment of clarity, where the American people, maybe we can come out of this, get rid of our the albatrosses around our national necks, and come out better for it, because we have no other option here. We have no choice but to evolve here, but to get rid of these Republicans legally and peacefully, shove them into history's trash bin, legally and peacefully. And this is the thing, for years, I'm a big Mike Malloy fan, and I love Mike, and he's one of my mentors. And he's said for years that the Republican Party is not a majority party. They're not meant to be a majority party. They can't, they're incapable of leadership. And he's 100% correct that they, look at what happens when they're in the majority. They do nothing but destroy. They're not builders, they're destroyers. And you know why? Because they're lazy. That's why they can't function in a free democratic society, that they have to consider other people, because it's so much easier to destroy. All that Trader Trump and these Republicans do is dismantle the hard work that Democrats have accomplished in spite of Republican obstruction. Everything. Really, if I'm wrong here, please post it in the chat. Name one thing that the Republicans have done for the American people, and we'll talk about it. I would be happy to talk about it. Seriously. Wait, where is this? Here we go. Yeah, look at, isn't this interesting? This is the conservative Reddit page. Look, they changed the avatar. It used to be Trader Trump's, fight image, where he got fake shot in the ear. Now it's Charlie Kirk. And they say nothing about the Epstein files. Look at this. Something 4 hours ago, and then 14 days ago. It's the last post about Mondani. All right, well, maybe they're ashamed of themselves. One can hope. Hope springs eternal. All right, listen, guys, thank you for being part of the first Tarabuster Tuesdays. Thank you, JoJo, for Jerz, for trying to at least, I'm sorry about that, and trying to hop on, and we'll try it again. We'll do it again. Don't worry. That was just a preview. of things to come. Oh, geez, I got to get tighter on the back end here. That's what she said, right? Yeah, because we got to keep it tight on Tuesdays. All right, guys. So Friday nights, we have another Tarabuster on Fridays. And that's a little bit more loosey-goosey. And you can ask Jim. He knows all about it. Because he's a moderator there, too. Thank you, Jim. And thank you, everybody. And thank you, Political Voices Network and everyone. And JoJo from Jerz. And all the other great political voices on the Political Voices Network, because this is how we're going to win. And I love the Political Voices Network, and I hope you're a subscriber. And because we need all of you, we need each other. You see, the Republicans were very smart in the years building up to their destruction. As they were destroying all along, but they did it with propaganda. They understood that. But they have deep pockets and big billionaire benefactors who are sociopaths, and we only have each other. And so we have our work cut out for us. That's why we have to ask all of us, we stick together, we win. That's how we're going to do it. And that's how I end all the shows, okay? Because, we will win. We will win. We will win. Why, you ask? Well, because we're on the right side of history. We are. We're on the right side of decency, dignity, democracy, humanity. Listen, guys, next week, is it Thanksgiving already? Jeez Louise. So hopefully we'll have Joe back next week. I hope her schedule will allow it, and before we'll do a test and make sure we have all the ducks in the row here, and that'll be great. So that'll be great Thanksgiving week, and it'll be awesome because I won't have to change the graphic either, because we can use the same graphic. Okay. All right, guys, so hopefully I will see you all on Friday night at Tarabuster. But please become a subscriber to my Substack and the Political Voices Substack and all that. I know we always are telling you what to do, but we got to do it. It's a necessary part of being being a normal person in the progressive left political media, okay? In the liberal media. All right, listen. Become a patron, patreon.com/Tara Devlin. I want to thank Charlie from APS Radio News for being a great supporter of Tarabuster. And before I go, I want to remind you guys about APS Radio, which is a part. So Charlie runs APS Radio and APS Radio News. And APS Radio News has independent voices on it, like myself. But there's also APS Radio, which has classic rock and oldies all day. And then there's APS Radio, which also has there's a classic channel as well, classical music. So it would be a great backdrop for your Thanksgiving. So all you got to do is put on APS Radio and choose your classical music or your classic rock and oldies as the background for your Thanksgiving holiday. What do you think? Then that's how we support each other. If no need to fumble around for stations. Just check out APS Radio and let that be the backdrop to your holiday. All right, my friends. And what else? Yeah. All right. That's it. I'm done. We gotta go. Become a patron. Patreon.com/Tara Devlin. You got your marching orders. Subscribe to my Substack. Subscribe to the Political Voices Network. And thank you, JoJo. Subscribe to JoJo so we can keep making our voices matter, cutting through the din, because we got our work cut out for us, guys. But we will win. And my name is Tara Devlin. Thank you for hanging out. We stick together, we win. I will see you very soon.